Like a stock that goes up, will come down. Taking your profits and leaving is the real game. You already know from the title and thumbnail what we're talking about. This is the 47th law in Robert Greene's controversial book, The 48 Laws of Power. Knowing when to step back. Do not go past the mark you aimed for. So let's start the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you find value within it. Chapter 1. The subtle line between growth and greed. Victory is intoxicating. The sense of accomplishment feeds the ego and blinds reason. Yet, as Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This law isn't about resisting growth, but knowing when growth becomes excess. Push too far, and what was once success can crumble under the weight of unchecked ambition. Psychologists call this phenomenon the satiation point, observed in studies like Brickman and Campbell's 1971 work on the hedonic treadmill. Humans adapt quickly to rewards, constantly seeking more without lasting satisfaction. Victory, if pursued endlessly, can lead to diminishing returns. Consider an entrepreneur who keeps expanding their business until the market collapses, or a leader who clings to power until rebellion strikes. Both ignored the wisdom of this law. To wield this law effectively, practice measured foresight. After achieving your goal, assess its sustainability. Instead of chasing additional wins, invest time in fortifying what you've gained. This creates a lasting foundation, rather than one that topples under greed. To shield yourself from this law being used against you, stay alert to manipulation through flattery or encouragement to overextend. Sometimes the biggest trap is someone pushing you to keep climbing, knowing you'll fall. Remember, restraint is not weakness. It is the mastery of knowing when enough is enough. Power lies in recognizing that victory is not just in the taking, but in the keeping. Like a gardener tending to a thriving tree, sometimes the greatest act is to stop planting and nurture what already grows. Chapter 2. The Rat Race. The human mind is wired to crave progress, a concept rooted in loss aversion, as identified by Kaufman and Tversky in their 1979 prospect theory. We fear losing what we've gained, and that fear often pushes us beyond rational limits. The illusion of endless triumph, like a race among rats. Believing we can always win is a dangerous trap. It blinds us to the reality that every pursuit has diminishing returns and risks hidden beneath its allure. Philosophically, the Stoics advise premeditatio malorum, foreseeing potential obstacles. By imagining setbacks, you temper expectations and guard against overreach. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on impermanence, emphasizing the fleeting nature of success. Understanding that no victory lasts forever sharpens your ability to decide when to pause. To use this law wisely, recognize the warning signs of overextension, fatigue, growing resistance from others, or subtle cracks in your relationships. When you notice these, step back, consolidate your position, rather than risking it for marginal gains. For example, if you've secured a strong alliance, focus on maintaining it rather than overburdening it with additional demands. Remaining skeptical of promises of limitless opportunities is the way. Watch for those who urge you to keep going, knowing it could weaken your position. Politely question their motives and ground your decisions in strategy, not impulse. Power is not infinite. It ebbs and flows like tides. Those who succeed long-term understand this rhythm. They do not chase every wave. They learn to anchor themselves when the waters are calm, ensuring their gains are not lost to greed. Chapter 3. The Weight of Hubris. Hubris, the overbearing pride that often follows success, is one of humanity's oldest lessons, etched in myths and history. The ancient Greeks warned of its dangers and tragedies where heroes, blinded by arrogance, fell from grace. Today, we see similar patterns when victories embolden leaders, entrepreneurs, or individuals to ignore caution, assuming their winning streak will never end. From a psychological perspective, this is tied to the overconfidence effect, where individuals overestimate their abilities or the likelihood of success. Studies like one from Moore and Healy 2008 show that people often misjudge their limits after a string of successes. Success becomes a double-edged sword. It bolsters confidence, but can also make us dismiss critical feedback and overlook hidden risks. Applying this law requires humility and self-awareness. After achieving something significant, reflect rather than rush into new ventures. Ask yourself, is this next step truly necessary, or am I chasing the thrill of triumph? Recognize the importance of rest and recalibration. This not only strengthens your gains, but also preserves your energy and resources for future battles. To defend against others using this law, learn to discern when encouragement is sincere versus manipulative. Flattery, particularly in moments of triumph, is a weapon. If someone praises your momentum excessively, question whether their intentions actually see you in higher position, or they want to see you on top, just to fell down. This is actually a very common trait in fake friends, or perhaps not even maliciously fake, but simply insecure individuals who envy your success. Such people might seem supportive on the surface, cheering you on to aim higher, but deep down, their encouragement is rooted in jealousy. They don't want to see you grow sustainably. They want to see you soar so high that when you fall, it's catastrophic, so severe that you can't stand back up. Their motives might stem from their own frustrations, a sense of inadequacy, or the bitter comfort of seeing someone else fail to make their own stagnation feel less lonely. Recognizing these patterns early can save you from unnecessary setbacks and teach you to differentiate between genuine allies and those who merely mask their envy with hollow words of support. True power lies in balance. It's not the conqueror who takes endlessly, but the one who knows when to stop, resting in their strength without needing to prove it. Victory should not be a hunger that consumes. It should be a feast that nourishes. Chapter 4. The Seduction. Success is intoxicating. It whispers promises of infinite potential, luring you to take just one more step. But the truth is, every achievement carries unseen limits. Pushing too far often triggers a backlash. Socially, it may alienate allies or provoke envy. Strategically, it stretches resources too thin or exposes vulnerabilities. As Lao Tzu warns in the Tao Te Ching, he who grasps too much loses everything. A psychological phenomenon known as the Icarus paradox captures this well. Originally explored in management studies, it describes how strengths that lead to success can become weaknesses when overused. For instance, a business thriving on innovation may become so obsessed on giving new features that it neglects its core values, ultimately collapsing. Similarly, an individual who keeps raising the stakes after every win may find their foundation eroded by unsustainable risks. To master this law, develop self-regulation. After every success, pause and evaluate. Am I pursuing this next step out of need or out of greed? Strategic patience builds resilience. Instead of climbing endlessly, reinforce your achievements, strengthen relationships, and stabilize your position. Success is a balance between ambition and caution. To prevent this law from being used against you, recognize when someone urges you to stretch your limits without considering your long-term stability. Such advice often cloaks selfish motives or carelessness about your well-being. Stay grounded by aligning decisions with your principles and not the fleeting allure of applause. True power is restrained. It lies in walking away from opportunities that risk what you've built, choosing instead to preserve and protect the legacy of your victories. Ambition, unchecked, becomes a trap, Only those who know when to stop can truly rise. Chapter 5. The Art of Knowing When to Stop. Mastery of this law lies in recognizing that power is not infinite. It is fragile and must be preserved. Just as a river overflows its banks when unchecked, ambition that lacks boundaries leads to ruin. The ability to stop requires wisdom, restraint, and a deep understanding of timing. As Confucius said, "He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in danger." Reflection is key to balance ambition and caution. The endowment effect, a concept in behavioral economics, reveals how people overvalue what they already have. This often leads them to overprotect their gains or double down unnecessarily to secure more, risking everything. Coupled with the human tendency to equate progress with constant action, this creates a dangerous cycle. The more we achieve, the harder it becomes to let go or pause. To use this law effectively, cultivate self-awareness. Regularly assess your goals, motives, and resources. Ask yourself, am I advancing because I must, or am I simply afraid to stop? Celebrate your achievements without immediately pursuing the next conquest. Allow yourself time to consolidate, recharge, and prepare for future challenges. This not only preserves what you've gained, but ensures your efforts remain purposeful. To defend against this law being used against you, beware of those who exploit your ambition by dangling false opportunities. Learn to say no with confidence, recognizing that restraint is a strength, not a weakness. The art of let go is the art of power. By pausing at the height of success, you don't abandon growth. You preserve it for the right moment. Knowing when to let go is not an end. It is a beginning, a gateway to sustained mastery and peace.